So routing information protocol, that is RIP. So this routing information protocol is a distance vector interior gateway protocol. So it's a distance vector protocol which works on distance. It counts the distance to get the right path for the destination network, and it is also interior gateway protocol which works internally in a single routing domain, now which is used by the routers to exchange routing information. And RIP prevents routing loops by implementing a limit on the number of hops. Now RIP is very good for a small network. Still, like a static, it is also very good for a small network. But when we go for the big network with RIP, then there is a big problem of loops, routing loops. Routing loops can create, and for saving it, for saving from the loops, to avoid those loops, RIP has a limitations. RIP has some limitations. That limitations are like it can go up to some limited hops. As we know that distance vector, that means for RIP, if he wants to get the shortest path for the destination network, it uses the hop count. Hop count, that means how many routers are coming in between source and destination network. Now it has a limit for that. That means it can go up to, that means RIP uses hop count to determine the best path between two locations. The maximum number of hops allowed for RIP is 15, and this limit is because of the looping, now which limits the size of network that RIP can support. And that is because RIP can support a small network where it can go in a straight line. If it goes in a straight line, it can go up to 15 hops, that means 15 routers. Now RIP works well in a small network, but it's insufficient and on large networks with slow WAN links, or on networks with a large number of routers installed. So this is the limitation for the RIP. Now in a RIP, network, each router broadcasts its entire RIP table. That means it broadcasts entire routing table to each other, to its neighbors routers in every 30 seconds. So for creating the routing table and maintaining the routing table, they do what? They exchange the routing table with their neighbors. Routers we configure with the RIP protocol, they exchange their routing table with their neighbors after every 30 seconds. Now when a router receives a neighbor's RIP table, it uses the information provided to update its own routing table and then sends the updated table to its neighbors. So always when it gets the information, it updates it and provides this information to other routers. And also RIP implements the split horizon, route poisoning and hold down mechanism to prevent incorrect routing information from being propagated. And because of this incorrect routing information, it can create a routing loops. RIP uses the user datagram protocol, that means UDP, as its transport protocol, and is assigned the reserve port number 520. Now RIP uses UDP. UDP, that means what? UDP does not use any acknowledgement. That means it sends bulk data and it do what? Broadcast. UDP is basically uses for broadcast. So this RIP actually use broadcast to send the routing information to its neighbors on the port number, on this port number 520, and it uses the broadcast. Broadcast, that means it will reach to everyone, it will just broadcast to the neighbors. It does not care that the neighbor is getting the information or it is not getting the information. This is also a drawback. That is why it is not preferable for the large network. There are some timers set for this RIP protocol, and these timers are all for the avoiding of loops. So timers are, first is update timer. Update timer is an interval of 30 seconds between two routing updates. Each RIP enables router sends a complete routing table to all neighboring routers every 30 seconds. This method is called as periodic update method. So every 30 seconds they will, all the routers exchange their routing table with their neighbors, and they are doing it by broadcasting to each other. And broadcasting means when they get the information they don't verify it, they just accept it. We can say also like their RIP is doing routing with rumors. That means it hear the rumors of network and it accept that rumors. It will not verify that is it true or not. The second timer is invalid or hold down timer. Invalid timer define how much long a router should wait for an update from the neighboring router, and it is usually 180 seconds. So if a router does not receive any update from specific neighbor for 180 seconds, then the router is declared as dead and all routes from the router are declared as invalid. An invalid timer does not remove any entry from routing table by marking it as a invalid for specific period of time. That means this hold down timer is what? The timer is set for waiting for the reply from the neighboring router. Every 30 seconds they are sending the update, but if suppose the neighbor router is not sending the update for more than 180 seconds, then what? It will remove all the information which is provided by that router, and it will consider that router as a dead. But it will not remove that entries. Actually it will set it as a invalid entry. That means if any data come to that router for that network, then it will not send the data to that network. It will say this route is invalid and I cannot send data there because maybe it is not available, it is possibly down. The next timer is route flush timer. Now flush timer is the time between a route become invalid and its removal from the routing table, which is actually 240 seconds. So before it removes the route from the routing table, the router notifies its neighbors of that route. The values of the route invalid timer must be less than that of the route flush timer. So this gives the router enough time to tell its neighbors about the invalid route before the local routing table is updated. So the flush, the invalid timer is 180 seconds, but after 180 seconds still it will not remove the entries from the routing table. It will keep the entry, but it will set it invalid. But after 240 seconds, if it is not getting any new update, then it will remove those information from the routing table. But before removing those information, or before setting it as a invalid, it will inform the information about this route or this network to all the other routers in the network, so that all the routers in the network will know that these networks are not available. So they will also mark it as a invalid, or they can remove the network. So 240 seconds is enough for sending the information to all the connected network, all the connected router in our network. And always invalid timer must be less than this flush timer. Then we have these are the features of RIP. So it is a dynamic and distance vector routing protocol. Available versions are version 1 and version 2. Uses hop count as a metric, uses Bellman-Ford algorithm, and usually used in a small network, and uses periodic update method. Version 1 classful and version 2 classless. Now what is that means? Version 1 is classful. That means if you're having a subnetted network in your environment, if your local network has a subnetted network, VLSM subnetted network, so it will not support it. It will not support it. And if you are having a version 2, then it will support that subnetted or VLSM network. So that means if your LAN network is subnetted, so this version 1 does not know this, but version 2 can understand this. For example, what I mean is, for example, if we have a router here and we have connected this to the network here. Now in this network, if I have created 3 subnets, if I have did subnetting here, subnetting means suppose we are having a network of suppose we have we did a subnetted, and what we did, we created one network, and we for example we have 192.168 and dot 1.0. so we created this network, and we have this network, and we divide this network into 6 subnets, and 6 subnets we assign one subnet here, second subnet here, and third subnet here. Now we have another site. On that site, what we did, we applied the remaining 3 subnets. That means we created 6 subnets of this, and we divided it into 3. So in one site we use 3 subnets, and for the other side we use the remaining 3 subnets. So subnet 4, subnet 5, and subnet 6 I used here. Now what happened when we do the routing between these two routers, and if we are using RIP version 1, then what happened, this RIP version don't understand that we have did the routing here, we have done the subnetting here. So it feels what? It feels that we have the whole 192.168 network. Now here in this router, it does not understand the subnetting. So this router feels also that I have all the 192.168 1.0 network. Now that means what? This router says I have this network, and this router says I also have this network. Now when they exchange the routing table, then we see the problem. When they exchange the routing table, so this router says I have this network, and this router says I also have the same network. That means what? It will not add the entry here for this network because it is connected to this router, and this router will also not have entry for these 3 networks here, because also they are connected to its own router. So this router says I have all the 6 networks, and this router will say also I have all 6 subnets here. So they will not send any data from here to there because they don't know anything about the other. They feel like they are having all the network here, and this router feels I am also having all the network here. Now if any machine from this subnet 4 wants to send the data to subnet 2, so it goes to the router 1, this router, because machine knows that there is subnetting, so it send it to the router. Now router says okay, this network is in my site, so it will not send anywhere, it will just send back to this network, because it feels that the whole network is on this side. Because of what? Because of classful routing, classful network. It supports only classful network. Now when you use version 2, so it uses what? Classless network. It supports classless network. That means if we use RIP version 2 here in these routers, then they know that we don't have the whole 192.168 1.0 network. They know that we have only 3 subnets of that network, that is 1, 2, 3, and here this router knows that okay, I have only 3 subnets of that network. So any data which comes for this side of the network to this router, so it knows that the other network is on this other side, and it has the entry in this routing table because it knows it supports the classless routing. So any data for this subnet comes from this router, comes to this router, then it knows that where to send the data, and it will send to this router, and then the data will reach to a proper subnet. So if you are having a subnetted network here in any site, then version 1 will not understand anything. It will only understand that it has the whole network. But version 2 understands the network, understand that there is a subnetting, and I have only 3 subnets of it. I don't have whole subnet, and I don't have the whole network. That is the difference of version 1, version 2. That is one of the difference of version 2 and version 1, which is classful and classless. And this is the meaning of classful and classless. Very simple. Classful means without subnetting, and classless means with subnetting. Routing loops. Now routing loops is what? It caused by the consistencies in routing state among a set of routers, and they occur in imperfectly designed network and have a negative effect on performance, and they impact end-to-end performance through increased packet loss and delay for packets caught in the loop. What is the loop? Loop means going round and round and round within the loop, within the circle. So it can do what? Some packets can caught in the loop and they will never reach the destination. And through the increased link utilization, and it will do what? It will increase the link utilization. It will utilize the link, whole bandwidth of the link, and corresponding delay for packets that traverse the link but are not caught in the loop. So it will stop other packets also which is not in the loop, and because of the bandwidth is all utilized by the loop packets, so other packets also cannot forward. So you will stuck, your network will stuck, and everything will be jammed. Routing loops occur when routing tables are not updated fast enough when one of the network becomes unreachable, and due to the slow conversions and updates of routing table between all routers. So some routers will end up with incorrect routing table and will broadcast that routing table to other routers. These incorrect routing tables will cause packet to travel repeatedly in a circle. So looping means going round and round in a circle. So packet can go round and round in a circle and never reach the destination, and that can occupy the whole bandwidth. It can utilize the whole bandwidth of the link, and for that it can stop forwarding other packets also. How it can be, how the loops can be, and how it can be, like how it happens. Let's see how it happens. For example, we have configured RIP protocol in this network. Now RIP is very much we can say bad protocol for this. That means RIP version 1 is very old protocol, and actually it was designed without any consent. So they have not think about the big network, and they have not think about any other things that time. So they have not designed it properly, and that is why it creates loop. So mostly RIP is very very much affected by the loops, and that is why the RIP protocol we don't use RIP protocol. It does not supports in a large network. It is basically best work in small network. Now what it do actually, and how it can happen, and how we can get the loop, and how we can get into the loop. The problem is the update timer, and the update timer in RIP, whether we are having RIP version 1, so we are having a problem of update timer. It is what periodic update it has, and periodic update, that means after every 30 seconds they will update their routing table, and in between those 30 seconds they don't do anything. This is the first problem of RIP. The second problem of RIP is that it broadcasts the information. That means it will broadcast the information, and it will not verify the information which it gets. That means this is the routing table of router 1. So this is the routing table of router 1. So when it sends the routing table, so what it do? It sends the routing table on this interface and also on this interface, because they are enabled with the routing protocol. Remember, when we enable the routing, enable the RIP, we mention the network here 10 and 20. That means we are saying we are enabling this network for routing, and also we are enabling all the ports which is in this network. So this port is in 20 network, so it is enabled, and this port is in 10 network, so it is also enabled, and it will start sending the routing information to these ports. So it sends also on fast Ethernet port, but here we have a switch and also we have normal machines, so they will not accept any information because they are not doing and they are not configuring RIP. But the information goes to this link, through this link to this router also. So this router will do what? It will get the information, it will use the information to update its own routing table. Now the problem here is they will only send the update only after every 30 seconds. That is their update timer. We can decrease and we can increase the timer. We can change the timer by the configuration in our router, but the default is what? 30. Other problem is that they do broadcast. Broadcast, that means the information which it sends from router 1 to router 2, it's a broadcast transfer. So broadcasting means it will send the information without knowing that router 2 is there or not, and router 2 is getting the information or not. It just send it and forgot it. And also it use UDP because it is doing what? Broadcasting. Now the problem is what? This router, when gets the information, it accepts the information without verifying that the information is right or wrong. So these are the two big problems are there in RIP version 1 basically. So for avoiding this, and what happened when you get this problem, let's see how I'll show you how it makes the problem first. Now how it makes the problem. For example, we have this routing and we have did the routing, and now you see we have these routing tables. So routing tables are created. All router knows everything. Like this router 1 knows that these are the networks. This router 2 knows that these are the networks. This router 3 knows these are the networks. So they know all these networks, they know all about it. Now what? Everything is working properly. Now what happened? From router 1, this cable is disconnected, or maybe the switch is down or something happened here. This network is down now. That means we have network 10 down. Now because the router 1 is connected directly to this network, it directly knows that this network is now not available. Now the first problem, it will not inform this to router 2 because it will only inform when the 30-second timer is expired. So when the timer of 30 seconds reach, then only the router 1 will send the information to router 2 because it do what? Periodic update. And when it sends the information to router 2, then router 2 will know, okay, that 10 network is down. But within that 30 seconds, in a busy network, 30 seconds can be a very big time. Within a 30 seconds, thousands of millions of packets can transfer from one location to other location. Now what happened if suppose someone sends the information, someone send the data, like from this router, from this machine, someone is sending a data to this one of the machine from this 10 network. Now what happened? It will go to this router, its own router. Now router will check its routing information. It says okay, 10 10 10, I have a 10 network and I can reach within 2 hops, and I can go from this serial 1. So this is the serial 1 interface. So it will send the data to this router from that interface. Now this router 2 gets the information, and then it will check the routing table 10 10 10. So it says okay, 10 is also there in my routing table, and within 2 hops I can reach the network. And from where? So I can reach it from serial 0. So serial 0 is this interface, so it will send the data to this router. Now the problem is still not here. There is no problem here. Still there is no problem. When the data reaches to the router 1 checks its own routing table. It says network 10 is not available, so it will just drop the packet here, and it will just send the reply that the network is not available, and it will get the reply that network is not available, this machine. So there is no problem here. Now the problem comes if it informs it to second router. Now it will send the reply after 30 seconds. This router 1 sends this information to router 2. Remember, it is broadcast, so router 2 will accept it blindly. It is believing on the rumors that whatever it is saying, it is right. So it is not verifying, it is just accepting the information. Now what router 1 is saying, that okay, 10 network is not available. So what it do here, it will remove this entry. Remember, it is removing this entry. That means router 2 don't know anything about this network 10. Now this router 2 is connected to router 3, not router 1. So when router 2 will inform the router 3, then only router 3 knows that this network 10 is down. Unless it will not know, and it will keep sending the packet to that network. Now what happened, before this router 2 30 second expire, like when the 30 second of router 2 will expire, then it will send the information to router 3, and before that it will not send any information. So within 30 second, after 30 second timer, then it will send the information to router 3, and then router 3 will understand that network 10 is down. But for example, here let's assume that before router 2's timer expiry, router 3 timer expire. That means before this router's timer will expire, this router 3's timer is expire. That means 30 seconds is done here in router 3. Now what router 3 will do? Router 3 will send the information to router 2. Before router 2 sends the information, router 3 sends back the information to router 2. Now what happened here? Router 2 will get the routing table from router 3. Now here you have the 10 network and it is available. Now remember what I said, it is a broadcast, so router 2 will not verify, because the network 10 is actually sent by the router 2 to router 3. So it will not verify that this is I have told him. Now it does not know anything about 10, so it will make a new entry here. Remember what it will do, because it does not know anything about 10, it has removed, and it is getting the information from this router, and because it is broadcast, so it will not verify that it is coming from router 3 or router 1. It says accepted. So what it will accept here is that router network 10 is available. Now here it is sending hop count 2, so it will add one more there, and it will change this to 3. It will add 1 into 2, so it will become 3 now. And then what? The information, where it is getting the information? It is not getting the information from serial 0. Serial 0 is this, and this is what serial 1. So it is getting the information from serial 1. So it will change this, and it will change it to serial 1. And then it is actually creating the new entry. Now what is the new entry? The new entry is wrong. It is not a right entry. Now again, when that 30 second expire here in router 1, then again it will send the information to router 2, and router 2 will know that okay, this network is down. But before that 30 second, it is a big time. What if this machine sends any data to this network 10? Now remember, router 2 is having wrong entry. So first the data will go to this router 3. Router 3 will check its routing table. It has the entry for network 10. It says it is 2 hops away, and I can reach by 2 hops, and I can reach from serial 1. Where is the serial 1? So it is here. So it sends the data to serial 1, and it reaches to router 2. Now router 2 has wrong entry. It checks its routing table. It says 10 10 10. I have network 10. In reality it is not there, but it is having a network 10. How I can reach? With the 3 hops, that means 2 set by the router 3, it added 1 into it, 3. So 3 it can reach, so it says okay, 3 I can reach. Now which interface I can send the data? So it is not serial 0, which is the actual location. It is what? Serial 1 here. So what this router 2 will do, instead of sending it this side, it will send the data back to this router. Now what happened? It sends the data to this serial 1 interface and it goes back to router 3 again. Now what router 3 will do? It will again check the routing table and it says where is 10? So it says okay, 10 is there with 2 hops and from serial 1 I can reach. So what it will do? It will send the data back to router 2. Now router 2 will check again its routing table. It says where I can reach 10. So within 3 hops I can reach from serial 1 and it will send the data back to router 3. And what happened? Router 3 again check the routing table, send data to router 1, router 2. Then router 2 will check the routing table, then it will send the data to router 3, then router 2, then router 3, then router 2, then router 3, then router 2, then router 3, then router 2, and you know what? It will consume the whole bandwidth between router 2 and router 3, because this packet will switch which forwards in seconds, million time, and it will do what? It will depend on the network speed and it will use all the bandwidth of your network and keep looping, and your network will be down and everything will be down. And that is how it creates the loop. Now because of this problem, they have made the solutions. The first one is that maximum hop count. So the RIP protocol, whether it is version 1 or 2, it cannot go up to maximum 15 hops. 15 hops, that means in a straight line, 15 hops, that means 15 routers. So if any machine sends the data to any destination machine, so it will go 1 hop, 2 hop, 3 hop, just like this. In a straight line it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it can cross almost 15 routers, and after the 15 router it will say I cannot go more because my limit has reached, and it will drop the packet here and it will not go ahead. How it will help to prevent the loop? You see, it is actually doing what? It is hopping. The packet is what? Hopping from router 2 to router 3. So if we have a limit of 15, then it will not loop for infinity time. It will do what? It will only loop for 15 times. That means first time when router 3 sends the data to router 2, it will be one time, one hop. Then when router 2 will send back to router 3, it will be second hop, then third hop, then fourth hop, 6th, 7, 8, 9, and when it reaches to 15, then router will drop the packet and it will not send back the packet. And how it happens? Actually, when first time this router 3 sends the data to this router, first time when it routes the data, it added the TTL value there. It is actually time to leave value. Time to leave, and the value is what? It is 15. So when it reaches the router 2 first time, and then what? First time when the router 2 routes the data back to router 3, so it do what? It subtract 1 from it. So it will become here what? 14. It changes to 14, and when it reaches to this router 3 says okay, it is 14. So when it forwards the data to next router, it minus it to 1, and then it becomes 13. Then when it reaches to router 2, it says okay, it is 13, I will minus 1, and it converted into 12. Then router 3 converted into 11, then 10, then 9, then 8, then 7, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0. So when any router sees that this time to leave value is 0, that means we cannot forward this packet anymore, and we have to drop this packet because it reaches the limit of 15 hops. Now this way we can prevent somehow the loop, but this is only the one option to prevent the loop. Still the packet is looping within these two routers 15 time, 16 time actually. So it is still looping. So if we want to prevent this looping, so there are some other mechanisms to prevent this looping, and that is not only for a RIP protocol, it is actually available for all the other protocols with the maximum hop count also. So with this maximum hop count, which is 15 for router for the RIP protocol, other protocols also use the maximum hop counts, but other protocols maximum hop count is much more than this 15. This 15 is for only for RIP, but other protocols have much more hop count than this because they don't create loops actually. Only RIP can create loops. Now what is the other information, other ways of preventing the loop apart from this hop count? So these are first the timers which we have seen. Like first is the update timer, which is 30 seconds. We can't change it. This is the default behavior of RIP. So we have what? We have trigger update. So in version 2, what they did, they changed the periodic update to trigger update. This is one of the mechanism to prevent the loop. So that is the difference in RIP version 1 also and 2. So what is the difference is actually RIP version 1 do the periodic update as it is done in old time, but RIP version 2 do what? It do the trigger updates. This trigger updates also used for preventing the loops and preventing for the misinformation. How the trigger updates avoid the loop? Suppose this 10 network is down. Now when the 10 network is down on router 1, so router 1 will not wait for 30 seconds. 30 seconds they will send the whole routing table to each other. It is there, it is already there, but if it loses one of the network which is connected to this router, so it will not wait for that update timer, it will just send the trigger update at the current time. That means very quickly it will directly send the trigger update to this router 2, and it says that network 10 is down. So this router 2 will also know that okay, network 10 is now not available. Very quickly the information is reached to router 2 without waiting of that 30 seconds. And when the router 2 knows about the network, it will also quickly update, and it will just directly sends the information to router 3 by using the trigger update that network 10 is down. And this router 3 will also update that okay, network 10 is down. And then what? There is no chance of having a loop, because what? Now we have updated information on all the routers with the help of trigger update. So they don't wait for the update timer to update the information. They just send the information directly with using the trigger update. And that what the RIP version 2 do, and that is the difference of RIP version 1 and 2. So one difference is what? RIP version 1 is classful and RIP version 2 is classless. And again RIP version 1 do what? Periodic updates, and RIP version 2 do what? With periodic updates it do what? Trigger updates to send the information quickly. Now next thing is to provide the loop is the hold down timer. Hold down timer means what? When anybody sends the information to any router, like when the network 10 was down, so router 1 sends the information to router 2 that this network is not available now. So what happened? It removes that network. What it did actually, it removes the network. It removes the network. That means it does not know anything about the network. And then when router 3 sends the information about network 10, it accepts that because it does not know about it. But in hold down timer, what it do actually, it does not remove the network from here. It will keep the network as it is for 180 seconds. That is what the default update hold down timer. We can change it, but the default is 180 seconds. So it do what? It holds it for 180 seconds. It will not remove the network. So it knows the right information that network 10 is up one hop away and I can reach from the serial 1. That is what the right information. It will not remove for 180 seconds. And in between that 180 second, if router 3 sends the information which is wrong, so it will not accept because it knows that network 10, so it will not accept the new information. And 180 is more than 30 seconds. That means what? Before happening the 180 second, before 180 second, this router 2 will inform the router 3 about it, and the router 3 will also update it. So this hold down timer is to prevent the looping also and preventing for the misinformation. So this router 3 cannot send the wrong information and cannot update the wrong information in router 2 because it will not remove this information for 180 seconds. So within 180 seconds, can be router 1 send the information that it is up, the network is up, maybe it can be up, or the router 3 will not send the wrong information. So within 180 seconds, router 2 will send the right information to router 3 and it will also remove the network from here. This hold down timer is also helpful when you are having a trigger update in version 2. So if you are using a version 2, then you are having a trigger update. So sometime it can be a problem when you are having a loose connection in your router, like your cable is loose and your network is flickery. It is coming and down, it is coming and going and coming and going. Then what happens? If it is a trigger update there, when it goes down, this router 1 says it's down. Then when it comes, it says comes. That means comes, down, come, up, down, and this router 2 will also start sending the information up, down, up, down, up, down, and it can be a problem also. So the hold down timer will do what? It will hold the network and it will not remove it until 180 seconds. So whatever this router 1 say, whatever it is triggering the update, it will say, okay, I know you're saying it, but I will not remove it till 180 seconds. And it will keep that network for 180 seconds. And it will remove that network only after the reaching of flush timer. Flush timer is also, it is what? It is 240 seconds. So after actually 240 seconds, if they don't get any information, then they will remove the network. So these are also for preventing the loops. So maximum hop count and also hold down timer. In version 2, you have trigger update. Now the next thing is split horizon. Next thing is split horizon. Now this split horizon do what? And actually this split horizon is enabled in the routers. Whether you are using RIP version 1, RIP version 2, or you are using IGRP, OSPF or EIGRP, this split horizon method is by default enabled in our Cisco routers. And what it do actually? It actually do what? It says that it is very simple. It says the information which you get from someone, you will not tell that information to that person again. That means very simple. If something router 1 sends to router 2, so router 2 will not send the same thing to router 1. What that means? If you see here in the routing table, router 1 has these two connected networks. 10 and 20. So whenever it sends the routing table, it has sent the information to router 2, that is I have network 10 and I have also network 20. Now this information he gets from router 1. Now when it sends the, then when the router 2 send its routing table, remember it is doing broadcast, so it will send it to this interface, it will send it to this interface, and also it will send it to this interface. That means it is also sending the routing table to router 1 also. So what it will do here, when it sends the routing table to router 1, so it will not send this two networks. That means when it sends this to router 1, so it will not send this 10 network, it will not send this information to router 1, and also it will not send this information to router 1, because this information this router 2 gets from router 1. So it is not sending the same information which it is getting from the router 1. And also it will get the information of network 50 and network 40 from router 3. So when it sends the routing table to router 3, so it will send that I have 20 network, I have 30 network, I have 40 network 40. No, 40 it will not send. It will send I have 10 network, but it will not send what? This 40 it will not send to router 3 back to router 3, and 50 also it will not send back to router 3, because these two networks it gets from router 3 itself. So basically split horizon means when you get a routing information from some router, so you will not send back the information to the same router. It is like if you get something from someone, some information from someone, so you will not send him back to that, send him the same information. You will say, I know that, why you are saying me, I know this thing, I'm the one who told you this, so why you are saying me the same thing. So it is just like this. In a simple way, when we say at the point of router 2, so when the router 2 sends its routing table to router 1 and router 3, so what it sends here, to router 1 it will send only the information about network 30, which is its own network, and network 40 and network 50, which it gets from router 3, and whatever it gets from router 1, which is route 10 network 20 and network 10, it will not send back to router 1, and the information which it gets from router 3 it will not send back to router 3. So it will send the information about network 20 which gets from router 1. Also it will send the information about 30 because it is own network. It will not send the information for 30 to this router 3, and also it will send the information of network 10, but it will not send the information of 50 to router 3. So basically it is doing what? It is sending, when it is sending the routing table to these two routers, these neighbors routers, so it is not sending those networks which is coming from that same router. Now how it will prevent the loop? Remember where we get the wrong entry. When router 1 says network 10 is down, and router 2 do what? Router 2 removes this 10 network. So where it gets the wrong entry, when it removes the right entry, so it gets the wrong entry from actually from what? Router 3. It got the entry from router 3, which is wrong. Now when the split horizon is enabled, so router 3 will do what? It will only send the information of 40 and 50, which is its own connected network, but it will not send the information of 20, 30 and 10. Now why? Because these three networks it has get from router 2, and when it is not sending the 10 network to this router 2, then it will not get this wrong information. So it will not get the wrong information, and you will not get the routing table does not have a wrong entry, wrong information, and when it is not having a wrong information, there is no chances of having a loop. This split horizon is enabled in routers, but still we can have another option, and we can use the another option also. That option called route poisoning. We can have a route poisoning also. Now route poisoning is not enabled, but we can have this and we can enable this route poisoning also. But it is also a method for avoiding the loops, not only in RIP, any other protocol. What is the route poisoning and what it do actually? So route poisoning do what? It will poison the route. When it knows that the route is down, so router will do what? It will poison the route. It is very simple mechanism. Like when this router says that network 10 is down, router 1 says network 10 is down, because it is connected network. Remember, connected network, that means it will not poison it, because it is connected network for the router 1. Whether it is on or off, it will know directly. But when it sends the information to router 2 and it says that the network is down, so router 2 will not remove the entry, right entry. The problem is when it removes the right entry. Problem comes when it removes the right entry, then it can get the wrong entry from any other router. So what it will do here, it will not remove the right entry, it will poison the route. Now what is the meaning of poison? Poison means what? It will set the route as unreachable. And how it is? Remember, we can reach the route. Remember, it is, if it is RIP, that means what? It can reach the route until 15 hops. Right now this network 10 has 1 hop. Metric is 1 hop. So what it will do here, for poisoning it, it will change this 1 to, it will change to more than 16. Let's say it set it to 17. Now it is not removing the network is there, only it is changing the hop counts. And hop counts changing means it is just poisoning it, because 17 hops it cannot reach. So it will say it is far away from me and I can go there, I cannot go there, and the packet will be dropped. So when the data comes to this router from router 3, so it will check the routing table and it says, okay, I have network 10, but it is not reachable for me. It is 17 hops, more than 15. So it will directly drop the packet here and there is no loop. Then you will not have any loops. Now when it gets the information again from the router 1 after 30 or 60 seconds, and router 1 says, okay, the network is on. So now what this router 2 will do, it will remove this 17 and put it back to the original hop, and that means now it is irreachable. So this is called what? Route poisoning. So basically we have what? We have mechanisms for avoiding the loops, which is first the hop count, which is 15 for RIP, because RIP did very much problem for looping. Then we have the hold down timer, then we have a split horizon, and then we have route poisoning also. So for avoiding the loops, we have this maximum hop counts, and then we have a split horizon, then we have route poisoning, and also we have hold down timer. So these are the things we have for avoiding the loops, and these are all available for any other router, any other routing protocol also. But other protocols does not do this looping. They are not vulnerable for looping. The RIP version 1 is most vulnerable. RIP version 2 is still vulnerable. But other protocols, for example, we are having EIGRP and OSPF, they are advanced protocols and they don't create loops. So we have two versions of RIP, and also one more version. So basically we have three versions, but basic versions are only two. So version 1 is what the original specification of RIP was published in 1988 and uses class full routing. The periodic routing updates do not carry subnet information. That means what? Class full means when the router sends the information periodic updates, it does not send the information about subnet mask. And subnet mask, that means it does not send the information about subnetting, and lacking support for variable length subnet mask also. So this limitation makes it impossible to have a different size subnets inside the same network class. That means we cannot use it like we divide one network into three subnets, and then three subnets we use in one site and other three subnets we can use it on other side. We can't do it because RIP version 2 does not support it. It only support what? Class full routing. Now in other words, what? All subnets in a network class must have the same size. Now there is also no support for router authentication, making RIP vulnerable to various attacks. Now router authentication means when the router 1 sends the update to router 2 must authenticate that the update is really coming from router 1 and not from any other router. So it is also not available in RIP version 1, the authentication. So because of that, it can be a vulnerable for various attacks. Now the other hand is what? Router RIP version 2. You can see, due to the deficiency of the original RIP specification, RIP version 2, that is RIP version 2, was developed in 1993 and last standardized in 1998, almost after 10 years of RIP version 1. And it included the ability to carry subnet information and thus supporting the classless interdomain routing. That means now RIP version 2 can carry, when they send the information about the network, it sends with the subnet mask, and that means what? It can understand the subnetting, and that is why it supports classless routing. To maintain backward compatibility, the hop count limit of 15 retained, and still it uses the 15 hop count limit, RIP version 1. In an effort to avoid unnecessary load on hosts that do not participate in routing, RIP version 2 multicast the entire routing table to all adjacent routers at the address of 224.0.0.9. This address is a multicast address, and RIP version 2 uses this multicast address to send the routing information, as opposed to RIP version 1, which uses the broadcast. So that is the second problem in a RIP version 1, that it uses the broadcast to send information of routing table to other routers, and information sending by the broadcast, that means without verifying it. So RIP version 2 uses what? Multicast, and multicast IP 224.0.0.9, and that means what? Only RIP version 2 routers can see that information because it is multicast by on this IP, and they will get the information and they send the acknowledgement that this I got this information, and it is what? Multicast broadcasting. And also unicast addressing is still allowed for special authentication, for special applications. Then again RIP version 2 supports authentication. It supports MD5 authentication, and it was introduced in 1997. Now root tag were also added in RIP version 2. This functionality allows distinction between root learned from the RIP protocol and root learned from the other protocols. Now what that means is that in single router we can have a multiple protocol configured. We can have configured multiple protocols. Suppose in your router you have 4 networks. If your router has 4 networks, then what? You can configure one protocol for 2 networks and other protocol for 2 networks. So we can configure multiple protocols. Now this supports is what version 2 has this supports, which is not available in version 1. Now one more version of RIP we have now is called RIP NG. RIP-NG means RIP next generation and is an extension of RIP version 2. So I will not say it is a different version. It is actually RIP version 2. Only what? It has a support of IPv6, that is the next generation internet protocol. The main difference between RIP version 2 and RIP-NG are that RIP version it supports what? IPv6 networking, while RIP version 2 supports RIP version 1 updates authentication. RIP-NG does not, and IPv4, IPv6 routers were at the time supposed to use IPsec for authentication. So RIP version 2 encodes the next hop into each root entry, and RIP-NG requires specific encoding of the next hop for a set of root entries because it uses IPv6. Then RIP-NG sends update on UDP port 2521 using the multicast group address of IPv6 is FF02:9. This is the multicast address for RIP-NG. Now this is our two versions, and we can say like these are the basic difference of these two versions. So version 1 supports class full routing, no subnet mask information is transmitted with the routing updates, and version 2 classless routing protocol sends subnet mask with routing updates. Version 1 uses broadcast to send routing update, version 2 uses multicast to send routing updates. Version 1 does not support VLSM, version 2 supports VLSM. Version 1 does not support authentication of update messages, but version 2 supports both plain text and MD5 authentication mechanism. RIP-NG is actually basically what RIP version 2 with the support of IPv6. So this is what we have RIP protocol. So after configuring the RIP, what we can do, we can verify the RIP by using show IP root command, and also we can use debug option by using this debug IP RIP command. It will show you the detail. If you are having a problem, then you can use this to get the detailed information, and it will show you this when you run this command. It will enable, it says RIP protocol debugging is on. Then it will start showing you the packets and the messages. So this command displays the routing updates sent and received on the router's interface. And when using the debug commands, you must be at privilege, that means privilege mode, and to disable a specific debug command, specify the same command starting with the no parameter. To turn off debugging, for all debug commands use the either undebug all or no debug all command. So for enabling, you will use debug IP RIP command. To disable it, you can say debug no debug IP RIP, or you can say no debug all or undebug all. You can use this command to disable it. When you enable it, it will show like this. So we have configured here. I'll go to this router 2. I'll go to the privilege mode and I will say debug IP RIP command. Now you can see it is enabling the debug RIP, and now what it is saying, receiving, it says router 2 says received version 1 update, and now it is receiving it. So after every 30 seconds you can see it is receiving the updates. And if I want to remove it, so I will say no debug IP RIP, and now it is off. So when I enable that, it starts showing me that what it is getting. It is saying received version 1 update from this router, from this interface, and this was the network information. Then it has sent the information, and you can see because it is version 1, it is sending the information on the broadcast address, and it is sending the information to everyone, and also via fast ethernet 0/0. and what it is sending, it is building the entry for its network 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and what it is, the matrix 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Then again it sends the information to serial port serial 1, then again it will send the information to serial 0, then it receives the information from serial 1. So you can see, when you enable the debugging, you can see these update information, so you can guess and you can troubleshoot that which router is sending the information and what information it is sending and what information you are not getting it. So if you have any problem, you can see when you enable the debugging. These are some other commands of RIP which we can use, like the version 1, version 2 is to change the version. Passive interface command with interface name here, we use this command to set the interface through which routing update should not be propagated. Remember, when you enable it, so it will send information to all the interfaces. So if you want that some interface should not send the information, send the update, then you can use this passive interface command and then with the interface name, so that interface will not send any update to anyone. Then you will use no auto summary command to disable the auto summarization of routes. Now remember, when you have version 1, it will do summarize, that means where it will not support the subnetting, it will not send the subnet mask. But even in version 2 also, by default it does not send anything, it sends the whole network. It does not send the subnet mask, because it do what? Summarization. So if you want that, if you configure the router 2 version 2 and you have done the subnetting VLSM in your network, then you have to disable this summarization of feature by using this no auto summary option, no auto summary command. Then to change the timer, you use this command, timer basic. You can change update time, invalid time, hold down time, flush time to change the RIP timers. Then show IP root database command to show the database information about RIP, and debug, for debugging, debug IP RIP command for doing the troubleshooting. Now in the RIP database you will not see anything new, it only shows the same information which we see by show IP root command, because it is a very simple protocol. Now if we want to remove router configuration of RIP from our router, so it is also very easy, not like static routing. In static routing you have to remove one by one every route, but here you don't have to do that. So how we can do that? So let's say I go to this router 3 and I want to remove router RIP configuration. First, show IP root to check the routing table, and even we can say show IP RIP database command to check the database information. It is actually same information what we have in routing table. It says 10 network, in also it is summarized. 20 network is also summarized, 30 network is also summarized, and these networks are also summarized and where they are connected. So this is actually the database information. Now I say, if you want to remove remove the RIP from your router. Now this is router 3. What we have here, we have these network 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now these 40, 50, 60 is what? Connected network, and they are what? They are in routing and they are in the RIP routing. Now I don't want this network 50 to include into RIP. I want to remove this network. So how we configure the network? We go to command router RIP, then what? We gave command network, and then we mention one by one these all connected networks, 40, 50 and 60. But this time I don't want to include this 50 network, I want to remove it. So what I will do, I will say no network and the network which I want to remove. Now this network it will remove from routing, and removing it from routing means what? It will now it will not send this network information to any other router. Any other router means what? We are in router 3 and we have removed 50 from here. So when I go to this router 2, its neighbor router, and if I check show IP route, so you can see this 50 network was there. So it was there because it was there previously, but now I have removed it. Now you will see the timer here. It is 40. It is 40. It is more than 30. That means now it is not getting the update from this router 3. It is not getting the latest updates. So when we do this show IP route, you can see the timer is keep increasing. Other routes are updating after every 30 seconds, but this route is not updating. And after 180 seconds, it is still not 180 seconds. So after 180 seconds, that means 60. After 3 minutes, it will do what? It will say that this network is possibly down. It is still not removing the network. This is what hold down timer. So because of the hold down timer, it is not removing it from the routing table of router 2, but router 3 is not sending it. Now it is more than 180 seconds, and after more than 180 seconds, now it is saying it is possibly down, and it is chances of this can be removed. So after 240 seconds, it will remove. So why it is removing it? Because router 3 is not sending the information to any router, because we removed this network from routing. Now if you want to completely remove the protocol, like if you want to you don't want to remove single network from router RIP for the RIP, you just want to remove the whole RIP configuration. So very simple, for configuring it we use this router RIP command, and for removing it we can just use no router RIP, and done. Now no configuration of RIP, it is completely removed. So it is that simple. If you just want to remove the routing, if you just want to remove the protocol, if you just want to remove the configuration, you can just go to the config mode and say no router RIP. Done. It is removed. No information is now available. It is not like static routing where we remove single network one by one manually. We can just remove everything by just giving command no router RIP, and it will remove everything of RIP. So this is all about routing information protocol, which is RIP, which has two versions, RIP version 1, version 2, and also the other version for IPv6, which is RIP-NG. So this is how it works, how we can configure it, and how we can remove it. It's very easy to configure, easy to remove, easy to manage also, but it is not easy for big network. So it have a limitation it cannot work on a large network. Still, if you want a large network, then you have to go for another protocol, and that protocol we will see next time.